Hello, everyone. Welcome to Marketing Monday with the Watertown SBDC, where every Monday we talk about marketing. I'm Nicole, friend of the SBDC, joined by Liz and Erica. Hey, ladies, how is your Monday going?
Well, we're here. It's going to snow tonight.
Nice.
It
Well,
is. Oh.
besides the snow, what exciting things are going on with the SBDC that we all should know about?
Well, we actually had kind of a quiet week because it was school vacation week is always quiet for us because everybody has, their mind on other things. So, but we do have one thing happening, and that is our let's see, we do it thrice annual, I guess is the right word, Erica, of basics of building your business, which is our fully online Zoom class. It's 100% free. And there are 7 sessions. It starts tomorrow, Tuesday, the 19th of April, and registration is technically closed. But if you have a burning desire to join 64, that's right. I said 64 other aspiring entrepreneurs who've signed up for this. You can email us at sbdc@sunyjefferson.edu and we will squeak you into the class.
That's our biggest number yet, right? As far as classes are concerned, class attendance.
Ever. And since we're talking marketing, we have to be honest here and say that we only usually get about 50% of the people who sign up actually attend. It's just the way it is, right? And folks, if you're marketing stuff, this is one of the lessons that you are marketing events. This is one of the lessons that you're going to have to learn. Even if they've paid, they still don't show. Anyway, so if we have 30 people show up or 32, that would be the biggest class we've ever done. So we're really excited. There's a lot of young people. There's a lot of interesting business ideas. And all I can say is that entrepreneurship is the key to economic development where we live in the far nether regions of New York, where there's actually snow in late April. I'm not letting go of that one. Not letting go of that one.
Coming soon to
That's right, to a backyard near you. Yeah, or an interstate roadway. Yeah. So if you're still interested, or if you thought about the class and you're like, well, yeah, join us. Please consider joining us. Shoot us an email.
Well, it sounds fun, and it sounds like not just an opportunity to learn things, but to really network with other business owners, which is super valuable.
Yes, it is. And we have seven sessions, all different topics. And as I think I've mentioned here before, we have a new, we've added a session, and that's the last one that Erica is going to lead, which is, I know, right? Well, Erica could lead any of them, trust me, but with her business experience. But this last one, I'm really excited about it. We did it the first time last year with our childcare entrepreneurs, and it's kind of taking care of you. Like, becoming a business owner is a big step. And so there's adjustments for you, your family, your friends, your sleep, all sorts of stuff. So Erica's going to lead a session and how to prepare yourself and your family for the rigors of owning a business. So so we're really excited about that.
Things you wouldn't otherwise think about, right?
Right, exactly.
You're going into things,
That's exactly right. And and I'm going to be quiet just one second here, Nicole. One of the things about the SBDC is that we're great at teaching the hard skills. Here's how to do an accounting entry, and here's how to do projections. And we've kind of veered off into some of the softer skills and some of the more intangible stuff. And that's what this marketing series is all about, is learning the skills that aren't just getting you started, getting you official, paying your taxes, but optimizing your business and your marketing plan. And the 7-session course will help you to optimize your business plan and hone your vision. So we really hope that you would consider joining us. See, I wove the Marketing Monday into there, right?
You're on mute, Nicole. We can't hear you.
I was not even worried about it. Not at all. All right. So don't forget, I'll keep it on the screen for a little bit longer. Email the SBDC if you want to join that class, or if you just want to set up a free consultation with a smart person, an objective third party who can help you with your business. Great resource. It definitely helped me start my business. And periodically, I like to meet with the SBDC and talk about how things are going too. So, but let's get into today's topic. I didn't know what to call this, so I called it Social Media Ads 201, because like last week, it was sort of 101. It was like how to set up an ad, how to make adjustments, and how to just feel comfortable. And today, I'm going to continue the theme of like, don't be intimidated. Okay. There are people dumber than you with less experience than you and all that who run Facebook ads or any kind of social media ads. And you can do it too. This is meant to be empowering and also point you in directions to learn a little bit more about things for your specific situation too. But our goal is to also kind of get into a little bit of details too, so that you feel good about looking around back there and everything like that. So the first thing I want to talk about is, and the different platforms call this different things. Facebook calls this Commerce Manager, and everything behind, Meta Business Suite. Excuse me, forgot the rebrand. Everything back there is something manager. I don't know if the person who designed it like always wanted to be a manager, and so they named everything manager. But so Facebook, it's called Commerce Manager. Obviously, too, it's usable on Instagram because Meta is the company that owns them both. You can also do shoppable content on TikTok as well, and I'm sure. Oh, and Pinterest as well. You could do shoppable pins. So some places use the word shoppable or shopping, and some places use the word commerce, but it's this basic idea that you can link specific pieces of content to a website that sells the products. Now, also, just in case real estate people are watching this, you can also do this at least on Facebook with real estate. So I know that like houses aren't really like e-commerce, like properties, like we normally think of someone who sells, phone cases or shirts or art or something. You can actually do Commerce Manager with real estate listings as well, just in case that's of interest. And I thought I would just kind of go through here what that looks like. So I'm in Meta Business Suite, and I could have picked Pinterest or whatever to do this too, but I thought this might be more applicable. And one of the things in here is commerce. And this Commerce Manager, manager, obsessed much. Now, what happens, you see, I don't have anything set up. Now, the reason I don't have anything set up is because this is me personally on Facebook, but I also have all these other business accounts that I manage, but we'll just keep it in here for now. Now, what you can see here is you can add a shop. So we're going to pretend we're going to add a shop here. And when we add a shop, you see that I can sell stuff on Facebook and Instagram. Now, what this means is that on my Facebook business page, I will now get a tab that says shop that has all of my products in it, like little thumbnails and everything. And on Instagram, I will be able to tag products. So, when you're on Instagram and you see something and there's like these little like dots on the photo and you click on them and you can see that's what this is. So in case you ever wondered how they do that. So it's showing us the basic Facebook and Insta, and it's really like making the case of like, you can use Facebook to do your transaction processing, but we'll get to that in a second. We're not going to let
Nicole.
Meta. Yeah.
I just want to be clear now. This is not Facebook Marketplace. This is selling in line in your news feed, right?
Yes. Yeah. This is selling on your business page.
On your business page, not selling your old dishwasher or whatever. Right.
Yeah. I'm seeing if this. So I have a website that sells gift certificates, which is a cash equivalent. So Facebook is really mad when I do this. So you're going to see this and it's going to be like this. It's going to should be all products. There we go. So it pulls in all of my products that are for sale. Now, the reason Facebook is mad is because gift certificates are cash equivalents. So I actually am not supposed to do this. So we're not going to spend too long looking at that here because it is not kosher. But if you are not selling cash equivalent products, you're good here. So
and I think that just another way to clarify what Liz you were saying is just that we're talking business to consumer and getting this set up on Facebook with products sold, not consumer to consumer or otherwise. Although it does get confusing because on Marketplace, there are businesses selling products too. So I think it's really smart to make that distinction. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But basically this shop lives on your store or lives on your Facebook page. So I am going to, so that's not it. Which one is it? I'm going to create a new, whatever. I link it to my page. We'll just pretend it's this page and call it good. And then it says, okay, now that I picked my thing, it says, and look how I'm just showing this to you because look how it does this. Check out with Facebook or Instagram, reduced friction, more opportunities to make sales, blah, 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 blah. And it's really selling this hard because Facebook wants to be your payment processor. Now, the last time that I checked, Facebook was planning on taking 5% of the transaction. I have not double checked. Oh, But look at what they did. Selling fees are waived through December 31st of 2022. Now, selling fees have been waived. Last year it was like, oh, we're waiving it until June. Then when it was like, oh, and now we're waiting till. So they keep pushing it back. I think what they want you to do is set this all up, forget about it, and then which is fine. Like if you have a built-in margin that where you can have a 5% processing fee, that's totally fine. But obviously this is what they want you to use, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I can't remember right now, but how does that compare to like Shopify and the other e-commerce?
Typically online processing is 2.9% plus 30 cents a transaction. So around 3%. Okay. Yeah. So they're taking an extra little bit.
Uh-huh. And is this are most people using this as in addition to, right, the e-commerce platforms that you'd use for your website? And then you got to think about,
I don't know a lot of people who are sitting on Facebook being like, let me do all of my shopping on this Facebook page, because I think this is relatively new. And Facebook has been slowly building us to like, oh, it made it so we could send money through chat. And oh, it made it so we could, it's like slowly been adding like the ability to the marketplace stuff. Like it's kind of building people's comfort level and exchanging money over Facebook generally. But I just,
you think,
I just want people to know. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Erica. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I was just thinking, I mean, do you think that that's just they're seeing the trend of people getting away from shopping on websites in general and using e-commerce platforms? Or
I think they want a chunk of the e-commerce market.
Yeah.
A lot of companies are like trying to create easy ways for small businesses in particular to sell their products online. And I think Facebook wants to be part of that pie. And a way for them to make even more money is to be your online processor. So I don't know. So to me, this is a little like, this is nice of them to do, but it's also a little bit of a money grab. We can't blame them. They're a big company. So check out with Facebook or Instagram, or check out on another website. And what this means is like people can look at products on your Facebook or Instagram page, but when they go to pay for it, they'll be redirected to your website. So I don't know. It kind of depends on what your comfort level is. I don't want to tell people that you have to use Facebook to process stuff. There are these opportunities. They're going to incentivize you to use it, right? But and they are waiving the selling fees. So they're going to waive that, whatever, 2%. But I think once enough people are in there, they're going to take it back. So we can just click check out on another website next. That's fine. I'm just going to pretend. There we go. And then I can create a product catalog and put it in here and add my website. So you might say to yourself like, oh, how do I create a product catalog? Well, we could just do new and then click next. And my website is the website, and it's taking us through. What it's going to do is create what's called a data feed. And so when you add new products to your website, it will come in automatically into the Meta Business Suite, where you can tag them on Instagram and have them showcased on your Facebook page. You can also take out ads to specific products. So let's say someone was looking at a specific product. You could take out an ad to them later of that specific product. Again, I'm sure that as a consumer, maybe you have experienced that, maybe from larger companies, but as smaller companies, we can do it too. So just that is back there. The ability to have that is back there, and it's a matter of setting it up and knowing what your website software is. So you could look up set up Commerce Manager for a Squarespace store or for Shopify store or whatever. And all of these, obviously Facebook wants your money. Shopify also likes it, whatever. They want to help you set this up. So there is detailed tutorials, probably video or written with screenshots of exactly how to set it up in your case. So, but just know that like every time you add a product, you don't be like, oh, I have to go on Facebook and add it too. Usually it's a product data feed and it will pull in. So, and you can use Facebook to process. That makes the whole transaction on Facebook, but you can also not do that as well. So just wanted to let people know that this commerce thing exists. You can also, Pinterest, you can have shoppable pins, and you can upload a product. People can shop right from Pinterest. They can search for items by price. The example I always use for Pinterest is when you look up office rug on Google, it's the saddest looking group of rugs you've ever seen in your life. If you look up office rug on Pinterest, you can search, especially if it's a product pin, you can say like, okay, I want to pay under $500 or something like that. And it will show you actually attractive options. And I've definitely used the search feature on Pinterest to find things to buy that are not ugly. And actually, like,
better selection.
Well, I got the idea for my office rug on Pinterest too. So, and I ordered a bunch of squares. Yeah, and we put them in on Friday. It's looking real good in there. So, anyway,
we're all somewhat familiar with Alignable, or some people are using Alignable.
Yeah,
I'm thinking that they probably also are offering some kind of e-commerce on the site, because I was having a conversation with my daughter about getting an outdoor rug cleaned. And I don't really use Alignable, but I saw it in an email, it showed up, and then all of a sudden there was an advertisement for a local carpet cleaner who picks up for free. I mean, so I'm thinking maybe,
awesome.
A lot of people or a lot of, these platforms are doing the same things these days.
Yeah, and that's a really good point, Erica. I'm pointing out some large social media platforms, but there's these kind of more specific ones like Alignable, which we could also call sort of social media, that also have these options. So just know that
I'm assuming it does. I don't know that for sure, but I'm thinking.
Was there an ability for you to pay or book or whatever right from there?
Well, that's a good question. I actually just called them because it just seemed, the quickest, but there could have been. Yeah. I think it was just an advertisement maybe, but.
Okay, cool.
So that is different. That is different. That's not necessarily,
Well, I mean, just this idea that if you've ever seen a social media site that is, so you're looking at something and it seems like you can click on the product, that is something that you can set up when you kind of claim ownership of the business and set up typically sort of the same background as where you'd run ads. You can set up these product, like I said, sometimes they're called product catalogs or e-commerce shopping, those kind of words, depending on obviously the platform. So just know that exists and that you can explore it if you sell things online, and it can give you new ways to showcase your products and reach your customers. The second thing, gotta love the Canton little alarm thing going off right next door to me, so hopefully it's not too loud. All of these platforms let you create audiences. Now, the last time we did an audience of people in the Tri-County area that you guys serve who are interested in small business. That's what we used to run the ad.
Right.
But we can also make other kinds of audiences. And so something that you might want to do is, let's say that you have an email list. All of these platforms, all these Google, Facebook, all of them that offer ads in the social media sense, let you upload a list. And you can take out ads to that audience, or you can exclude your audience from the ads that you're taking out. So that is something that they all offer. And you can even make, I know on Facebook in particular, you can make audiences based on a certain behavior. So let's say that we wanted to take out an ad to everybody who watched at least 15 minutes of one of our Marketing Mondays. We could actually create audiences for people who watched a certain amount of a video, for example. So
wow, that's amazing that they can slice and dice it to that level.
So you can do it by demographics, or you can do it by those things. And actually, let me just go. Guess what the audiences area that in Facebook is called? Audience Manager. Hold on. So
I was going to say meta audience.
It used to be called audiences. Yeah. So I could create an audience. So when I create an audience, right, I can use a website source. We'll get to that in a second. I could use the thing we just talked about with the uploading your products into a product catalog and making it sellable on your site, or making it sellable on Facebook. We can actually target people who've looked at specific products, and we can also upload a customer list, right? Or in general. So all of these things are possibilities that we can make audiences for. So anyway, so just know that is a possibility, and you're able to save them, which is why, like, when you do Facebook boosts, you can sometimes pick by demographic, but this lets you not only save those audiences that you create in those ads, like that we did last week, but you can also make these other kinds of audiences if you use the Meta Business Suite versus just clicking boost on the post. So you can have this sort of historic data. And what I do, just a little tip, is if you're uploading like an email list, call it your email audience, and in the name of the audience, put the date that you uploaded it. Because otherwise, when did I upload that? And you think that there'd be a date back there, but there doesn't seem to be, at least on an easy place that I can do it. So, and the thing I wanted to spend kind of the bulk of our time on today is this idea of a remarketing pixel. Do you know what I'm talking about when I say that? Is that a word you guys have heard before in other contexts, or?
I have a general understanding.
Okay. So, just in case other people don't, or do you want to like talk about what it is generally, so I don't sound like a giant nerd? And I'm going to pull up this thing in the meantime here. Where is it?
Well, my understanding of it is that it's just recognizing maybe who's visited your website and remarketing to those people. Or that's just an example of remarketing. Is that?
Yep, absolutely. I'm laughing. You'll see why I'm laughing in a second. I don't know what these red exclamation marks are for, but we're not going to worry about it just yet. So I have a remarketing pixel on this website right here, and it's collecting data. Now, it's not telling me who these people are, right? But it's saying in this case, let me hide my my thing here, that page views 1,900-ish total events. I don't think that's individual people. I think that is events. So what I'm wondering is if Erica went on this website and clicked on 3 pages, if it would count that as 3 events or not. I'm not quite sure. And as you see here, this number isn't clickable. It's not going to tell us who these people are. Now, I have integrations on this site that actually track people who look at certain categories of products, who put them in the cart, and then who check out. I just haven't had a lot of sales recently, so the last 28 days. So there's nothing there. There's only page views. So what I can do here is I can take out ads, either include like to this audience, or I can exclude this audience from ads. So all of these tools have remarketing, the ability to remarket. So let me.
So where are you right now? Where were you? What website was that?
So this is Meta. This is Meta Business Suite.
Okay, so
and
you're
I went
still
to all
on Facebook.
tools, and then I went to data sources or events manager. I don't know. So here's all the. Oh, I had to verify my domain. That's what that's about. Okay, no problem. But if I want it, but there's all of them have this ability to remarket. So Pinterest calls it a Pinterest tag. And what this does is it's a code you add to your website. And then if you want to take out ads to people on Pinterest who have visited your website, you'll be able to do that. Now, you might ask yourself, like, why would someone want to take out an ad to someone who's already been to your website? Well, first of all, these people tend to be cheaper to advertise to versus, because they have some familiarity with you. They're likely to be, to see your ad and think, oh, like they've seen your name before. You're sort of a passing familiarity. So, well,
it's just another impression, right? And we know impressions are important. Like the quantity of impressions is important, right? So
and it's not as much of an ask to get them to consider you, right? Because they've seen you before, so they're cheaper to advertise to. Also, the second reason is that you can talk to those people a little bit differently than you talk to just somebody who doesn't know about you at all, right?
Right.
So I've seen ads of people who will do a pixel tracking, and they'll track people who make a purchase, and they'll take out a thank you ad to people who've made a purchase with either an additional coupon code or a free like resource download or something like that. And I've also seen people take out ads to people who put an item in the cart but did not check out. So, to get them to come back.
Right. But to your point, it's like you already know they're somewhat familiar, right? And that's like a cool thing to know, so that you can, think about how you're advertising to them and what you want to say to them next. Yeah.
Right. Now, if you're going to install these, and there's not a universal remarketing pixel, sadly. If you want to do Google ads, you need to use the Google remarketing pixel. If you want to do, Twitter ads, you use the Twitter remarketing pixel, and you can set up all of these pixels individually, or you can use something like Google Tag Manager to manage them. But if you're going to use any kind of retargeting, because you're sort of collecting sort of visitor data, even in the background, you have to have two things on your website. The first thing you have to have is a cookies notice, and you probably have noticed websites that have them. And then what a lot of them have is they have the accept button, but you're supposed to also have the don't accept button. And if they click don't accept, you actually have to stop tracking them. Now, the only place that this law sort of applies right now is the European Union, which passed a law like almost 4 years ago about this.
Mm-hmm.
And California passed a law pretty recently, like within the last 2 years. So in California, if someone says like they don't want to be tracked, you actually have to stop tracking them. So, by the way, most website software, this is not something you have to program, because any website software that does business in the European Union had to figure this out 4 years ago. So they have either a cookies banner or cookies notice that you can add to your own website. And that, like I said, it typically appears like on the top or the bottom of the screen. There's the accept button, and you click on it, and you continue on with your life, right? And the other thing you have to have is a privacy policy. And this has to be linked on every page of your website. So what most people do is they shove it in the footer. It doesn't have to be front and center in your top navigational menu. It just has to be findable on every page. And the privacy policy tells visitors what data you're collecting, how you're using the data, and that sort of thing. There are privacy policy templates that you can use online. You can try writing your own. Hashtag not a lawyer. But basically telling, and you have to have I love this. You have to have a privacy, like a compliance officer. And so I am my own compliance officer. It's the only time I'll ever be an officer. And there has to be a way if someone like writes to me, and I have to include my physical mailing address. If someone writes to me or otherwise contacts me and says they don't want to be tracked, I have to actually make an effort to not track them. So maybe I would exclude their IP address from tracking or something like that, but I have to accommodate reasonable requests for people not to be tracked. So just anyway, just know that if you're going to put a pixel on, you do have to tell people that you're collecting their information. And you can always tell when someone has a pixel on their website because there's these little, I cannot click today. So in my Google Chrome, I have, so this is a pixel helper. So oddly enough, the help version of the Pinterest website does not have a Facebook pixel. But if I go to this site, I'm wondering if it does. Where's my little, there we go. We have a Facebook pixel on this website. There's also one you can check the Google tags to and stuff like that. So you can actually tell if a website has a pixel on it or not. And it tells you the pixel ID number right here. So that's fun. So you can, like I said, take out ads to people who have been on your website in some way or taken specific actions. The default thing that's tracked with the pixel, as you saw in my example, is a page view. That's like the default thing. Someone looks at a page. But you can also track individual activities as well. And again, if you're using a specific kind of software to run, with your website, I'm sure that they have a detailed how-to if you want to set up a remarketing pixel with that software, for Facebook or otherwise. But
so is it your recommendation, Nicole, that you really think about a remarketing strategy as a different strategy, sort of separate from your other ads you might do, or your other ad strategy, social media ad strategy? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the people who've already visited you, right, or at least have some interest. Maybe you want to. Maybe I would be a little bit more like, hey, let's have a call or something, in this way that I don't necessarily lead with that when someone first comes to the website. So I would think of those people a little differently. And like I said, you can make remarketing pixels for any of the social media accounts that you use. If you run ads on social media, you can make a remarketing pixel on that same social media.
Yeah.
That's
I would think. Yeah, I would think for for the messaging, because the messaging might be different, like we talked about, but also just for your data and your analytics, that it would be interesting to see, to keep the kind of separate as far as the target audiences and that kind of thing, which it sounds like it would happen anyway, but not, I guess what I'm saying is to not be running necessarily the same ads.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Yeah, you have a good sense of it. So yeah, that's what we're talking here. It's just that this exists, and if you want to look into it, you're super and the thing with the remarketing pixels is just you can install them. Maybe you don't care about them right this second, but maybe you think you're going to care about them leading up to, I don't know, the holidays or something like that. Most of these pixels will store data for between 30 and 180 days or something like that. So they don't store the data forever, but if you want to target people who've been to your website in the last 6 months and it's, the holidays are approaching, it's best to kind of start collecting the data now-ish so that you have that possibility.
Especially if you have like a new website, you're just launching your website, right? Add the pixels now in case like you said, you're ready in 6 months to, with a new product or something. Yeah.
I know. And I get it. 'Cause I'm the same way. Like, when I'm ready to move, I'm ready to move. But with stuff like this, where you need data, like you need to give it some time to collect. So,
right.
So yeah. And what I thought we would do if we have time, which it looks like we do, is I thought we could look at a couple of different ad platforms to kind of show that we did a very deep dive in setting up ads in Facebook, but I thought we could look at a couple of the other ones and just sort of show you that you could take a lot of the same steps to do them on different platforms. What do you think, ladies?
I think that sounds like a plan. But before we do that, I just want to go back to the word pixel for 1 minute.
Yes.
It has nothing to do with your TV screen. It's just a cutesy poopsy word that they think will make you go, ooh, that's magic internet marketing. So don't get hung up on it. It's just.
And the word tracking isn't sexy.
Well, it's intimidating. And if you've ever gotten those messages on the bottom of your phone saying, we stopped 175 million, billion, zillion, 1100 trackers from tracking you this week. That's what this is all about.
Yeah. So I think remarketing just makes people feel happy. Like I said, it looks like Pinterest calls it tags. Like I said, they all call it something slightly different. But if you just look at, does Pinterest have a remarketing pixel? Someone has written a whole article about, well, it's called a tag and this is how you do it. So even if sometimes just me putting these words out there is not so that you can become a giant internet nerd or something, but it's sometimes having the right vocabulary lets you seek out what you need. So, and like I said, the word remarketing is not as creepy as the word tracking. But let me tell you, if I got remarketed to by a small local business, I'm thinking go little rock star when I see that. And I'm not thinking the same thing when big companies do it to me, I'm annoyed. When a small business does it to me, I am much less annoyed. So, yeah. So,
and so if you've ever tagged anyone in a post, guess what? You've created a pixel. So that's literally, and you've remarketed. So, remember when people were saying retweet for like 10 minutes when that was a different way to say thumbs up. Although I did read yesterday, you're a boomer if you use the thumbs up emoji. So guilty.
Yeah. Well, then I must be too, because I use that one a lot.
I know. So, this is how fast the internet changes. But I just want to, we do use the proper technical terms because we want you to be fluent in them, but we also want you to not feel like pixel. Isn't that something to do with the TV? Yeah, no, not anymore. It's been rebranded. We've remarketed this word.
Liz, I must have read the same article because did you read that the thumbs up was like kind of passive aggressive?
Yes.
Because, I read that too. And I do that all the time. I have a company that I work with and there's an intern and I'm often like chatting with her on Slack and I thumbs upped her a bunch of times, but she's like 20. So I messaged her the other day after reading probably the same article you did. And I said, I am so sorry. Like, I did not mean to be passive aggressive. She's like, no, it's okay. Like, it's totally fine. But like, so I think the younger people understand that we're not trying to be passive aggressive.
Yes. Well,
it didn't even occur to me.
Digital sarcasm.
That's right.
Like,
That's
no,
right.
I just meant thumbs up. I didn't know.
I had to apologize to my daughter too last night via text saying, because I've already been given the lecture about which is the laughing emoji and which is the crying emoji,
Oh,
which
yeah.
I already knew, by the way, Rosie, if you're watching. But the whole thumbs, I was like, damn, because I use the thumbs up all the time. And so I said, normally I would thumbs up this text from you, but I have to spell it out and say that I don't want to be, have another annoying boomer Gen Z customer, Gen X customer habit here. And she was like, what? I've never heard that. I love the thumbs up.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I hadn't heard that either. I'm not listening to that.
BuzzFeed. It was on BuzzFeed.
I think we read the same article.
Yeah. Rosie's like, Mom, are you on BuzzFeed again? Yes.
Yeah. So
sorry for the digression.
Oh, no, you're fine. I just wanted to show basically a couple of ad platforms. So this is the Pinterest ad platform. And to create a campaign, we click create campaign. And look, it's the same thing. We have to pick an objective, just like we did with Facebook. So we have awareness, consideration, and conversions, right? And oh, look, catalog sales of our catalog. I zoomed in on this so that we could see the text, but I realized it might be cutting off a little bit. There we go. So you just go through the steps, just like we do with Facebook. It asks us about budgets. It asks us about all that. So it's very, so we can put together, oh yeah, formerly traffic. So keep my campaign active. I want to do a lifetime budget of $300. It doesn't have to be that high. It could be as much as you want. And I can run the ad continuously or on specific days. So let's say I want to run it for the next 5 days. Click continue. And then I call the ad group something. So this is visits to Nicole's website. And then, oh, what is it? Reconnect with users who've interacted with my brand. Huh. You see how all these things are kind of coming together? And I didn't want to talk about them last week because we had enough different things to talk about with taking out the ad. But once I kind of point out these 3 things, you're going to see them like in the ad landscape and be like, oh, that's. So I want to say, maybe I want to find new customers. And then I'm going to make an audience. And I can pick interests or demographics or so I'm going to anyway. But you just go through and I think, okay, I want people who do remote work stuff. Nope, that's not it. Nope. Okay, I'm clearly not finding an interest. Looking for people who are interested in poetry quotes. Yeah, we could take out an ad to people interested in poetry quotes. We went down from 80 million possible audience to 2.86 million. So apparently, like Pinterest users, there's a smaller demographic that like poetry quotes.
And poetry is always a big moneymaker too.
Yeah, but
wall words, right? That's what that is.
Right.
Wall
and
words.
That's the thing is, and you see how I'm just going through the steps, right? Because what are we not? We're not intimidated by the platform. Why aren't we? Because they're all basically the same.
And the other way to look at it is like it actually gives you spurs ideas, other ideas that you wouldn't think about as far as a target audience you might have, that kind of thing. So
right, and
useful that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and different platforms have different kinds of interests that they target. You know what I mean? That are possible to target for. So you might look and say, "Oh, my perfect audience is on Pinterest. Let's check out the vehicles situation here." Oh, aircraft. They're interested in aircraft. Okay. Even less than interested in poetry. I'm trying to find like the smallest audience, but point being, you go through, you take out the ad, and it's really not a big deal. But if I go back, I can just look at the data from this campaign that I ran. There we go. Oh, this is just a Pinterest pin. All right, hold on. Where are my ads? There they are. Overview of ads. Overview of ads. All ads ever. There we go. So here's the ad I ran for the co-working space. So I wanted to do an awareness ad to people in the Potsdam area about the co-working space. This was a little while ago. I did a broadcast about ads on my channel a few. So it looks like I spent $13.81 to reach 1,500-ish people. And if I look a little bit, I spent $35. I got 4,000. Oh, right. Got it. This is one day and this is another day. 1,508 one day, 1,520. Okay, got it. I'm like, oh, that looks okay. So I got 4,000 people. Sorry, that font is tiny. This is the part where I can zoom in here. There we go. So I have, hold on. I apparently am just having a bad click day. So as you see, the pin was clicked on 9 times. So my click-through rate was pretty 0.22%. That's pretty low, but and then outbound, so people who clicked to my website from there was 1. So 9 people saved it in or looked at it on Pinterest, and 1 person clicked through on the website. So, but I was going for awareness. I wasn't going for traffic. So, yeah, this is the kind, and as you saw with last time, like this is very similar to how Facebook also reports out on campaigns. So it's very, very similar. And then I thought I would even LinkedIn Campaign Manager, create campaign, and then you just go through it. Next, and then what are we doing now? We're picking an objective. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's so funny because people just are like, they get real intimidated by the ads interface. And I'm like, once you understand one of them, and if you want to get comfortable with one of them, that's great. But like, they're all set up the same way, and they're going to ask you leading questions, and they're going to make it easy. And you know what? When there's a problem, there's a help section, and you can submit a support ticket, and they get back to you because you're going to spend money. If you just write to Facebook because you have a problem with something, they're never going to get back to you. But if you have a problem in the ads interface, you'll have a dedicated account specialist within hours of submitting your thing.
What a coincidence.
I know. Well, it's in their best interest that you spend money.
Right.
And, I will say the one thing with Google and LinkedIn in particular is they seem to have you seem to have to spend some money. Like, you can't just be like, oh, let's throw $50 at it and see what happens. With Google in particular, I tried to run an ad and I said I was willing to spend $100. It didn't show the ad. And then I said I was willing to spend $150. It didn't show the ad. I was willing to spend $200. You know what I mean? They seem to want you to spend some money to show the ads. So just kind of be warned about that. And LinkedIn also seems a little similar in that way, because I think I tried to lowball them and it didn't work. So if you want to try to lowball them, that's totally cool. I'm just saying that's something I've noticed. So if your ads aren't showing up, it's because that somebody else is willing to pay more for the same thing that you want, because it's all bid based. So there's some other company or some other person that's willing to target the audience that you're trying to target. Yeah, and they're willing to spend a little more money. So no big deal. You can either up your budget or try something else. So worst case, you can always set upper limits and everything like that. So don't be intimidated, because you can set the budget. It won't go over that. And the worst thing that will happen is your ad won't show. So. And I've got some other ad things pulled up too that we can look at, but they're all the same. That's kind of like, yeah. I mean, it's all like objective. Okay, who do you want to show it to? What do you want it to look like? Okay, publish, give us your money, thanks. Like,
yeah. So, it really is a matter of, again, like we said last week, just going in and trying it, whatever, identify what you think are your 2 best platforms, and go in and try it and see what happens, and remember that you can't break things,
Yep. So, like I said, the worst thing that's going to happen is your ad won't show. That is the worst thing that would happen. Yeah. So in which case,
and it's almost like spending more time on the ad itself, and just like anything, really thinking through, who are you speaking to, and what does your creative look like, and those kinds of things that are more important than how much, is your ad going to show up if you try this budget versus another budget, because you can always change it.
Yeah, you always can. And let's say you make a really nice ad and it doesn't show up. Well, you can still take that beautiful thing you made, whether it's a video or a photo, and just post it.
Right.
Just post it so people can see it. You're not going to have lost that effort if you can just post it organically instead of paying for an ad. So no biggie.
Yeah.
So I hope that at the end of all this, that people understand that it takes some testing and just getting comfortable with the interface, but that a lot of things are possible with ads, and to just not be intimidated by it. You know, it's a tool in your tool. It's not gonna tank your whole business. It's not gonna save your whole business. It's just it's another sort of marketing tool at your disposal, and you do not need to be intimidated by them.
And, you can always check out what other local businesses are doing or what your competition is doing locally, nationally, whatever, and just, see what's out there, see what people are doing, see if it makes sense for you. And you can always give the SBDC a call. We can help you, or we can refer you to someone who can help you. So, as Nicole said, don't be intimidated by the platform. Give it a try, and no marketing effort ever gets wasted. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes when it's a quiet day and I check in on social media a few times, I start to see repeats. Plus, I don't have a lot of friends, so there's that. But and I'm afraid to get too many Instagram follow because that's the rabbit hole. Especially since I now have it on my laptop, so I can really look at all the pictures of beautiful mid-century homes and all the stuff I like in big pictures. But yeah, just check out what other people are doing in your industry or in your zip code. And if you like what they're doing, give them a call and talk to them about it.
Well, and just so you guys know too, there's something called a Facebook ads library where you can actually look at ads that are running.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, wow.
And I just put in United States clothes ads, but if I wanted to, I started to put in Canton, New York, and these are the places that are running. Here are all the advertisers in Canton running, or something with the word Canton in it, running ads. So if I want to see what ads Luna's running, 0 ads from Luna. Okay, right now. So, but I can see if I want to just look at more broadly clothing ads. These are all active clothing ads right now. They're on different people's campaigns.
That's super helpful.
Yeah. And, it says like this ad is running, what platforms it's running on, that it's using creative and text. So, and I believe that all of the ad platforms do have like a way for you to look at these. Some of them might just be for sensitive things like political ads and things like that. But there has to be some transparency legally about some of these. But I think all of them basically have some kind of ads library that you can look at if you want some inspiration about what people are doing in your industry or in your general area.
Right, and if you're even thinking that, maybe I want to do this at the holidays, now is the time to find those competitors or those like-minded businesses and follow them and see what they're doing. And also look for similar industries that maybe have a different busy time. Like, if someone runs a transient campground, now's the time they're ramping up. So, if you have an Airbnb that's more popular at, say the holidays, then see what other folks are doing, and you can learn what to do and what not to do. It's instructive in both on both ends of the spectrum.
Absolutely. All right. Do you guys have any other questions or anything else we should talk about the sort of slightly more advanced ads that we're talking about here than last week?
Oh, that's great.
Right.
Yeah, this is great information as always, Nicole, and everybody, go for it. And these are always available on our YouTube library if you want to rewatch, if you want to forward it to anyone. It's all content that was created through funding from the CARES Act. So this is taxpayer dollars. It's available to anyone, anytime. Use it. There's nothing that would make it more worthwhile for us to have gone through this pandemic. Then we need to learn stuff from it. So if you can learn about marketing, then hey, that's great.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit more about, I think, insights and sort of analytics of ads next week, so that people feel comfortable looking at those reports, generating those reports, and using those reports to make decisions. So I sort of glossed over it a little bit today, but it's because we're going into it a little bit more next week. So, all right. Thanks. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Right. It was great spending time with you. Have a great rest of your day, everyone, and see you next week. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Nicole. Thank you.